G'day, we're here with Bryan Williams, Head of Ecosystem for Xero and the Marketplace as well.
That's
Thanks
right.
for jumping on the Business Advisory Show. Bryan, how are you going?
Yeah, good. Thanks, John. Thanks for coming along to Xerocon.
Oh, it's awesome. Now tell me about Xero's philosophy to business advisory and how important do you think it is as in, for the future of accounting and bookkeeping?
Yeah, big meaty topic. I think it's something the industry's been talking about for the last few years, and we've seen downward pressure on compliances, as you well know, for accountants and bookkeepers, and it's been a weighty debate. And in terms of the strategy of what we're kind of thinking at today, it's how do we add. Fundamentally, all advisory is adding more value to your clients, but you are adding value and you are a trusted bookkeeper and an accountant, which we like to say that message, and all our research indicates that. And we're saying, so you should charge for it. You should be able to add more value to your customers and clients. So adding more clients is not always the answer. Sometimes it's like, how do you add more to your existing clients? And we're trying to help on that journey together. And Xero, we can't do it together. We do promote and advocate a lot of the apps which are here at Xerocon, and we've got over 80 here today. So whether that's solutions to help accountants and bookkeeping firms to streamline their services or for their clients, there's definitely a lot of value here in the room.
Yeah, and that's pretty impressive to have 10% of the 800, really. That's a great effort.
Yeah, and it's worth shouting as well that people not just from Australia here, people from in New Zealand or the US, UK and Europe, Glasgow, and many more places as well, just to be here today and tomorrow as well.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you see as some of the challenges now facing accountants and bookkeepers around, just transitioning to advisory?
Yeah, there's quite a few. Resistance to change, it is something new that you have to pick up and take off with. A lot of the industry has been doing it for 20 or 30 years. And so what is the change and how do I migrate towards that? In terms of the ecosystem's perspective, the course of Xero, since we've opened up the APIs in 2011, today we've got over 800 apps. So the strategy early on was have an open API and allow people to build to us, but in building an ecosystem, we've confused everyone. So we're actually trying to look at various ways we can unpack that and make it easier. So we're working on a lot of different marketing assets we've got to be able to make it easy for accountants and bookkeepers to streamline the choices, and we'll keep chipping away at that.
I heard something really valuable from an industry colleague recently who said that a year from now, people that have been investing in their transition to business advisory, whatever that is, whatever apps they go for, they will simply be 1 year further ahead of everyone that hasn't made the leap. What would you say to that?
Well, it's already happening. If you look at the likes of Jason from RBK Advisory, the guys in Blue Rock down in Melbourne, they've got a team of nearly 30 people in just digital advisory today. So much so they're actually able to drive accounting and bookkeeping people back into their firm. So the change is already happening. It's been happening for a few years. And these are the firms who are the early adopters of technology and they're riding the curve. But the reality is the industry is just getting started. So the opportunities for everyone is now and it is present, but it's... and hopefully these few days will be an opportunity for people to chat to these guys.
Yeah. What's the easiest thing about your role and what's the most challenging or most difficult thing about your role?
Oh, big question. Yeah. The hardest thing is how do we have scale? How we're trying to talk to an industry and trying to educate scale. So with our teams, either enabling our partner sales teams who are dealing with our accountants and bookkeepers, how do we get that single message out there to actually change? And what we find is people come to these events and they get really excited when they go back to the office and they get back to their day-to-day business. So how do we actually motivate and move the needle there is the hardest thing. Yeah. But it's always rewarding. We often chat to bookkeepers and accountants ourselves, and a few of them come up to us and say, I saw you 6 months ago in a Canberra or Perth event. We've made some changes, and we're now making revenue from some of these clients who we haven't before, and it's opened the doors. That's really rewarding. Yeah,
that's a great comment you've made. I think that as an observation, you've hit the nail on the head. The biggest challenge that I see, particularly for accountants and bookkeepers, is that they are hoping that something here is their panacea.
Yep.
And that's not the journey to mastering their own business, right? It's as you said, move the needle, right? It's about how do you continue to move forward rather than just hope for a quick fix.
Yeah, that's right. I think the analogy of the iPhone is always a good one. No one operates with just one app on your phone these days. You're not just making phones and text messages, you're adding to it over in time. And, we talk in Xero, we talk regularly around having sort of your level 1 advisor, where you might work with a cloud integrator. Level 2 would be more sort of starting to implementing app and moving on a journey, whereas level 3, you'd have the whole digital advisory in this house, and you've earned that over a period of time. But there's no turnkey. and how you price and how you choose to price is up to you, but it's a journey around it, but don't give it away for free.
Yeah, that's great advice. Yeah, if you had your time over, lessons learned. I'm guilty of plenty of things I'd do differently if I could. Is there anything that you've learned that you say, gee, great lesson?
Yeah, just build the foundations for scale. So you've got to consider what is the stack, where are you going to be in the next few years as you move towards this cloud journey, and what does that look like? So try and think ahead of where you're going to, and build it out from there.
That's fantastic. Yeah, thanks for being on the show today, mate.
No worries. Thanks, John. Enjoy the rest of Xerocon.
You're welcome. Thank you.